Welcome everyone to MMO Watch. This is your one-stop shop for MMORPG news, highlights, and commentary. I'm your host Pansy, and this segment is meta-analysis. Today we'll be taking a focused look into the top 100 ranking for Black Desert Online's 3v3 arena of Solare for the North American and European regions, where we're going to break down the class dominance and the meta that we are seeing in each region. So let's get started. So for today's episode, the snapshot of the rankings were taken on the morning of October 30th after the patch. Officially 1 week has transpired in this new season, so I wanted to take a look and see how the meta was stacking up. In the North American side, first let's start off with some base class knowledge. So two classes, base classes, are completely missing from the top 100 rankings here. So out of 30 classes, 2 are not there at all. That is Corsair and Shy. Now for the meta-analysis of the most common classes. So there are 7 classes in this list, and together they make up 49 out of 100 ranks in the most common class list. So the way I like to do this section is that I try to see how many different classes it takes to get to that majority point, and one more class here would push it over, but this is good enough. You'll see a stark difference in the EU side. So anyway, for the most common classes, let's break it down. There are 9 mystics in the top 100 rankings for North America. There are 9 ninjas and 9 sages. There are also 7 hashashins, 5 dark knights, 5 musas, and 5 novas. Together, they made up 49 out of the 100 ranks. Now let's get to the class breakdown. We'll go from top to bottom, from the most common to the least common in terms of specializations. Starting off with the most common specialization in the North American ladder's top 100. First week, Awakened Sage. 9 Awakened Sages are in the top 100. That is crazy. Almost a tenth of all the classes were Awakened Sage. Now we know they have been utterly dominant in the last season, and lately they've been definitely a torture for a lot of players, but let's keep going. Rank 2 here is tied between Hash, Mystic, and Ninja, and no rankings between them in terms of if they have the same number of classes. So I'm just going down in order of my list here. So number 2, we have Awakened Hash with 6 entries here. 6 Awakened Hashes in the top 100 for the North American ladder. Then there are 6 Awakened Mystics, 6 Awakened Ninjas. Then we have Succession DK. There are 5 entries for them, and I believe there isn't a single Awakened DK spoiler in North America nor EU on the top 100 ladder. Definitely Succession DK has seen a lot of play in this season. Then we have 5 Succession Novas, 4 Deadeyes, 4 Succession Meiwas, 4 Awakened Musas, and 3 Succession Zerkers. Now that is only 10 different specializations. We actually have 30 more to go. Fun fact, there are 40 different specializations that made their way into the top 100 for the NA ladder, but a significant number less on the EU side. So let's keep going here. There are 3 Awakened Megus, 3 Succession Mystics, 3 Succession Ninjas, 3 Succession Sorks, 3 Awakened Strikers, and 3 Archers. Then there are 2 Awakened Guardians, 2 Awakened Kunos, 2 Succession Kunos, 2 Awakened Lans, 2 Scholars, and 2 Awakened Tamers. And finally, for the single-digit entries, we have 1 Berserker, Succession Dosa, Succession Dracania, Awakened Dracania, Succession Hash, Succession Lan, Succession Musa, Awakened Ranger, Awakened Sork, Awakened Valk, Awakened Warrior, Succession Warrior, Succession Witch, Awakened Wizard, Succession Wizard, Awakened Wusa, Succession Wusa, and finally 1 Wukong. Of course, it's Devios. So with that being said, that is quite a bit of a diversity. In terms of the specializations, how many specializations do we have? Like 55, 56 specializations in total. Some classes are only singular specs. I think there are 4 classes. That is Archer, Deadeye, Wukong, and Scholar, and Shy. So 5 classes, which are only singular specializations. So I believe it's 55 specs or so. That is quite a bit of diversity. I actually am happy with this result to a certain extent. I know in the top end it's quite stacked. Mystic, Ninja, and Sage so dominant right now. Awakened Mystics are just crazy, insane sustain, and that vacuum, it just destroys you when there's a team that can follow up on it on voice comms, right? Awakened Ninja, you know, it's nice to see they're making a comeback there. And Awakened Sages, man, they're trouble. They're trouble. They were trouble last season, and they're trouble this season. So some things never change, right? Now let's take a look at EU's ladder. Let's see how their meta is different from the North American meta. Firstly, which base classes were missing from the top 100 altogether? That's going to be quite a long list. So there were actually 0 warriors in the top 100 on Europe's ladder. So 0 warriors, 0 rangers, 0 shies, 0 corsairs, no Draconias, Wukongs, Wusas, or Guardians. That is a shocking number of classes that have seen no entries in the top 100 for the European ladder. And believe it or not, the total specializations number is only 28. We have about 55 specializations. Bro, that is almost half. That is crazy. We will see a much more significant meta here in the European ladder. So let's first take a look at the most common classes. Which classes are going to be making up the majority? So 52 out of 100 classes are from this list. We have 14 mystics, 12 ninjas, 11 sages, 8 swords, and 7 dark knights. That is crazy. That is 52 out of 100, more than half of the rankers in the top 100 for EU. Now let's get into the class breakdown by specialization. So of course, rank 1, we have Awakened Mystic, 12 entries, Awakened Ninja, 12 entries, Awakened Sage, 11 entries, Succession DK, 7 entries, Awakened Lon, 6 entries, Succession Kuno, 4 entries, Awakened Megu, 4 entries, Scholar, 4 entries, Awakened Sork, 4 entries, and Succession Sword. Now for the classes which have 3 entries, that is going to be Awakened Musa, 3 entries, Awakened Striker, Awakened Tamer, Awakened Valk, and Succession Wizard, each of them 3 entries each. Now for the 2 entry classes, that is going to be Awakened Kuno, Succession Meiwa, Succession Mystic, and Succession Nova, 2 entries each of them. And finally, we have the single entry classes, that is going to be 1 Archer, 1 Awakened Berserker, Deadeye, Succession Dosa, Awakened Hash, Awakened Meiwa, Succession Musa, Awakened Witch, and Awakened Wizard, totaling 100 class specializations. So as you can see, between the North American ladder and the European ladder, there is a distinct difference. The North American ladder has a lot more diversity. We see 40 different specializations versus 28 different specializations in the European ladder. They are a lot more honed in and focused on being optimized and preferring those high-performing classes in Arena of Solare. So what does this mean for the general player population? We play the same game between North America and EU, but the cultures are different. Once upon a time, North America was all about the AP monkey. Europe went a different route. There were a lot more diverse in builds, focused on more defensive stats like evasion and such. Now, of course, everyone has the knowledge now. I'm talking about many years ago, 5-6 years ago, right? And that was all a meme. Nowadays, especially in Arena of Solare, where gears normalized, why do we see this much of a disparity? It might be a difference in the player mentality between the two regions, where one region, the North American region, don't seem to care as much as the meta. They just play whatever and say full send. And the European region, which seem to be preferring those classes which can perform highly. And it makes sense because this is Arena of Solare. Climbing the ladder is difficult. You lose a lot of points for losing, you gain a few points for winning, and you just have to win more than you lose and send a lot of games, one after the other, right? And through sheer numbers, you can climb the ladder. So you need every little advantage you can take. Classes which can really carry, either you 1vx, either you put the team on your back and carry yourself, or you can make serious plays, are seeming to get a lot more playtime on the European ladder here. We look at Awakened Mystic, Awakened Ninja, Awakened Sage. These 3 classes are in really good form right now. Succession DK has presence in both the North American ladder as well as the European ladder. It is a crazy duelist right now. So if you actually look at the top 3 between both North America and Europe, they are near identical. That is Mystic, Awakened Mystic, Awakened Ninja, and Awakened Sage. All three classes need a nerf hammer. They are very dominant right now, of course. So with that being said, what does this mean to you? Nothing. Play the class you like, play the class you're good at. As you can see on the North American ladder, there is quite a bit of diversity. There are certain classes which have zero play in either ladder's top 100, and that's okay, because you know what, play what's fun for you. But at the same time, some classes are underpowered. Some of the newer classes are more dominant than the older classes. Some classes are limited to a certain type of content. For example, a Suck Ranger and large scale content, you might take it, you might see so many of them. Suck Ranger in Arena of Solare, we haven't seen a single one in neither North America nor EU. So with that being said, guys, just take this all with a grain of salt. These rankings will change. Next time you see this episode, you'll see a different breakdown here. And the most important thing is your luck. Sorry. The most important thing is your skill, and that you are having fun on your class and you're able to dedicate your time and effort into perfecting your gameplay, because this is all about skill and a little bit of luck. You know, you don't want to be queued in with the slackers every single game, and it's bound to happen. Sometimes you just got to put the team on your back and just 1vx everybody, right? So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode of MMO Watch and Meta Analysis, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You know what? I'm actually streaming every single day from November 1st to November 11th. You might catch this show live during that time period. So be sure to check me out at twitch.tv/I'mPansy, where I stream, and I do multi-stream on YouTube occasionally. I'm still trying to figure things out there. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you stuck around till this point, you guys are absolute champions. Good luck on the grind, good luck in the arena, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.